And now, coming to you live from Huntsville Attic, it's Rockin with Rockin Robbie. And here's your host, Rockin Robbie.
Good to be here.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Rockin with Rockin Robbie. I am your host, Rockin Robbie. In the studio with me tonight, as usual, Jumpin and Jivin James. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. That is indeed right. Also, right next to him, Hammertime Holshoe.
Yeah.
Woo!
Happy Hanukkah.
Indeed. Next to him, Alliterative Alicia. Woo! Yeah.
Yo.
And tonight, a Rockin' Robbie first, Tantalizing Tad. Woo!
So not to offend anybody, happy holidays.
Happy holidays. That is right. Today is the 2013 Rockin' with Rockin' Robbie Christmas special. Christmas. So let's get right in on this. It's the most wonderful time of the year, right? Yeah.
So I've heard.
So I've heard. Speaking of things that are wonderful, music is wonderful. Hammertime Holshoe, what's your favorite Christmas song?
The Christmas song by Weezer, which probably nobody knows, except for Weezer fans.
Of course it would be Weezer.
It would be Weezer.
Naturally.
It's a great song. It's sad, but it's a good song.
All right, then. Jumpin' and Jivin James, what you got for favorite Christmas song?
I think I have to go with the George Michael song, Christmas song. It's the
Last
best.
Christmas?
Last Christmas.
Last Christmas.
That's a Wham song, though, right? Not George
Well, yeah,
Michael's.
Wham, and George Michael is 50% of Wham, I
Wham,
believe.
yeah.
Maybe 54.
I think he's about 65.
Yeah.
Because
that's
if you
a good
can't
song.
Call the other guy out.
That's another sad Christmas song.
I hate that song.
Great song.
Really?
Exactly.
I like that song.
There's the door, Tad.
Tantalizing Tad, what's your favorite Christmas song?
My favorite Christmas song, it's gotta be, and I genuinely dislike Christmas music after working at Dillard's for so long, as it was nonstop immediately after Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
But Jingle Bell Rock, as long as it's performed by the cast of Mean Girls, I love that movie. I laughed a lot when I saw that
Hall
scene.
and Oates or
No, forget that. That's no.
Alliterative Alicia. What's your favorite Christmas song?
I hate them all equally.
All right. Not a single one.
We were in agreement.
I can't. Christmas music wouldn't be bad if it weren't just played incessantly after Thanksgiving. But it beats me down, and I've just become resentful of Christmas music because, yeah, I've worked in retail and restaurants, and that's all that you hear. And it just, oh my God.
Well, that is unfortunate. I mean, you don't even have a guilty pleasure Christmas song?
A guilty pleasure Christmas song, I guess I do. I guess I would say there is one that I can tolerate, but I'm embarrassed to say it because I say that I hate Christmas music. And this is so corny. It's John Lennon's The Happy Xmas.
Oh,
The
yeah.
War is Over. Like, I really do like that song.
It's a great
That's
song.
a really good song.
Yeah,
There's no
that
judgment passed on that one.
Good song.
Hammertime Holshoe. What about a guilty pleasure Christmas song?
I almost don't want to admit it on the podcast. It's the Mariah Carey. All I Want for Christmas Is You song.
Nice.
I don't know why I enjoy the song. It's
And in particular, the Mariah Carey version. Because
yes,
a lot of people
the Mariah
have done
Carey
that.
version of the song. I should be specific.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's. I know it's a terrible song, but I something's wrong with me.
Tantalizing Tad, you got a guilty pleasure Christmas song? I mean, you've already mentioned Mean Girls.
Yeah,
So.
that's pretty dirty, right? I have to admit, the first time I heard Last Christmas, I actually liked it. The 30th time I heard it, I didn't like it anymore. So that I guess I'll go with that as a dirty pleasure.
All right, Last Christmas. Another vote.
Guilty,
for there.
dirty. Those are two different. the same thing.
It's a dirty pleasure, for whatever, you know. Maybe he's guilty of dirtiness. I don't know. Jumpin and Jivin James, what's your favorite guilty pleasure Christmas song? If it's not Wham.
It's going to be by Wings.
No, okay.
I mean, anytime you're just simply having a wonderful Christmas time, I mean...
How is that a guilty? That's an amazing song. That would be in my top 10 of my favorite songs.
Having a
Wonderful
wonderful
Christmas
Christmas time.
time.
Yeah, man, that's so we got John Lennon and Paul McCartney mentioned.
Wait,
tonight.
is that actually Wings or is it McCartney?
I'm pretty sure that one is Wings.
Okay. He actually recently redid it. Did you see that? With a different, I don't know who's his, maybe it's his new band. Maybe I don't know why he'd read it. I don't know what the purpose of that.
My favorite Christmas song is basically "God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen," the Bare Naked Ladies version in particular.
I don't know that I've heard that.
Really enjoy that song. Guilty pleasure. I mean, I really like "Mary Did You Know," the Kenny Rogers, Winona Judd.
Oh yes.
I really like that. I also really like "Christmas in Dixie" by Alabama. I was
Oh my
actually singing this
God.
last night.
Yes, he was.
But I like those ones a lot. All right, well, we got more Christmas fun coming up tonight, including Christmas around the world. But before we get to that, it's time for our first break. In fact, here is Jumpin and Jivin James's presentation on Kwanzaa from last year's Rockin' with Rockin Robbie Christmas special. Holler, everybody. Merry Christmas! Woo!
Yeah.
Bells. Ding, ding. We're not going to forget. Jumpin and Jivin James is our resident. Luckily, we do have an expert on this. That is Jumpin and Jivin James. Jumpin and Jivin James, please elaborate on Kwanzaa.
Harambe!
Is Kwanzaa a real thing?
Yes, it is. And it's an often misunderstood thing and
course
not
it's a real
known
thing.
by many people.
Wait, James
I
is
don't
doing
know.
the Kwanzaa
I do want to
report.
start off
All
with
right.
a good,
Sounds kind of suspicious to me.
Habari Gani to everybody. This also translates to what's the news?
Alrighty.
What's going on? Yeah.
Mojo.
What's the news?
What is the news?
It was originally started in 1966 by Maulani Karenga.
Wow.
It is a 7-day holiday, starting on the 26th, so right after Christmas. Get into it. And since there's 7 days, there's 7 main principles. Starting off with umoja, which is unity
That is correct.
Very
within
important.
the family,
Umoja.
within the community,
I know
the
this, I
nation,
know all
keeping
things.
everything together.
Kwanzaa.
And then there's Kuji Chagulia, which is self-determination.
Wow. That was impressive.
No shit.
Followed by Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility.
That's correct.
I like the sound of that.
Number 4, Ujama, which is
Ujama.
cooperative economics,
Ujama.
which is
Sounds
the
like
whole
Jabba the
movement of
Hutt.
keeping, keeping the money within your community.
Isn't that a little
Build it.
socialist?
It is a little bit, but if you're on the outskirts and no one liked you and everything, it'd probably be a good idea to better your own community.
Like squirrels.
I got a quick question. Did this originate in Jamaica?
No, it did not. It's here in the United States.
It's American.
It's always been American.
I didn't know.
Well,
As
they do
American
celebrate it
as
in
apple
Canada now.
pie. The question is why?
Interesting enough.
Why should the blues be so at home here?
In
Well,
Texas.
America provided the atmosphere.
All right, James. What else you got for us?
So then we get Nia, which is purpose.
Purpose. I
And
believe in
then-
your purpose, baby. Na 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 na.
All right.
And then number
Yeah.
6, we
Yeah,
get
skip that.
Kumba,
Komba.
creativity.
This sounds very Klingon.
Yeah.
Wow.
You sound like something Jabba the Hutt would say.
You're comparing black people to Klingons?
Solo. Man, all right. And then number 7, we get Imani, which is faith.
Ooh.
And much like Hanukkah, you get 7 candles. But instead of a menorah, you get a kinara.
Ooh, a Kanara.
And then most of the holiday, is meeting up on each day, celebrating one of the 7 principles, and then having a meal or a feast, passing around a cup, sharing libations. And also, furthermore, the name of Kwanzaa comes from the Swahili phrase, Matunda ya Kwanzaa, which means the first fruit of harvest.
Hey, Merry Christmas and welcome back to the Huntsville Attic. It's Rockin' with Rockin Robbie, and I am Rockin Robbie, and we are continuing our 2013 Christmas special.
Christmas.
We all have our cup of cheers here. We have some warm cider and some winter ales and lagers. Well, it's Christmas, so let's talk about the history of Christmas. In fact, what can we talk about the earliest roots of Christmas? Jumpin and Jivin James.
It would more likely be the Saturnalia festival in Rome.
Saturnalia.
Also earlier known as the Chronia in Greek. It's around December 17th on the Julian calendar. There's a sacrifice at the temple of Saturn, and then there's a public banquet after that, and then they would exchange personal gifts.
Exchanging gifts.
And
Human
then there'd
sacrifice? Human sacrifice?
Human sacrifice, yes.
And then a banquet?
Yes. It's like, all right, we've done this. Partay, let's all eat.
I think originally they did it was gladiator events, right? They did
A lot of times they would do that
10
kind of stuff
different gladiator events, and that was the human sacrifice given to Saturn.
Well, at
To
least
Saturn, yes.
Saturn, and he is, of the sun, so it's kind of goes hand with growing and all that stuff. So it's
Yeah, he's an agricultural
it's
god.
the deepest part of winter, and then you want to celebrate and show him that you still are all about Saturn. So the
Yeah, it
next year comes
coincides with the winter solstice. He was an agricultural god. They were celebrating another harvest come and gone, and the upcoming light, the upcoming spring and summer. And what's interesting to me about it is that basically it's a week of lawlessness. The Roman courts closed, and Roman law dictated that no man could be punished for damaging property or people. So it was crazy. Now, there were other things. There was, like you said, feasting, gift giving. There was gambling. Gambling was frowned upon in ancient Rome, but they were allowed to freely gamble during this time. You were able to do whatever you wanted, basically. There were role reversals with slaves and their owners. The owners would prepare a feast for the slaves and serve them. And then the slaves would prepare a meal and maybe even sit, and they were free to speak whatever they wanted, wear whatever they wanted. It was very interesting, and it led to some weird customs and practices. And what was it? The king of Saturnalia, right?
Yeah.
Alliterative Alicia is the resident expert on that one, right?
So they picked this random person out of the town, and they were designated the king. And they anything that they told to festival party goers, they had to do. So I could
Sounds
be
awesome.
You have to juggle, and you just have to stand over there and listen to me.
Then
do
by God, I'd juggle.
right? And they also had feasts, and I think at some point it was suggested that possibly there was human sacrifice involved with the king of Saturnalia as well. That after the festival was over and all of the feasting had stopped, they would kill the king of Saturnalia and expunge their sin, kind of thing. But
Like
yeah,
typical
that's just one theory.
scapegoat type thing, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eventually, the human sacrifice element was kind of merged out, and they used candles, because apparently the Greek word for candle or light is similar to the word for man. They used candles to symbolize the upcoming light, or they would use masks to represent the people. It was known to be the best of times, actually. People really, really enjoyed Saturnalia. 4th century of the Common Era, of course, Christianity becomes the adopted religion of Rome. And so they have to kind of figure out what to do. And so they kind of set the birth of Christ celebration in with a bunch of other festivals. There's a bunch of pagan festivals and celebrations always occurring near the winter solstice. So they just kind of put it there, and it was a way to get the pagans converted to be like, you can still, celebrate Saturnalia and be Christian because you're observing the birth of Christ. Obviously, we know Christmas is supposed to be the observance of the birth of Christ, historically, right? Even because of some of these pagan origins and the fact that even for centuries some of these practices continued. Puritans, for instance, banned Christmas, and its observance in Massachusetts was actually illegal from 1659 to 1681. And even Jehovah's Witnesses today, for pretty much the same reasons, don't celebrate Christmas.
That would suck.
Christmas literally means Christ's Mass. So there you go. There are the roots for that. Christmas today. Well, it's widely celebrated as the birth of Christ, though let's be honest, it's really become a secular holiday. We just still call it Christmas. It's a big celebration, you know. It's December 25th, though in early Eastern Christianity, it was set around January 6th. It coincided with Epiphany, and some still even use that
my
date.
birthday.
Yeah, it's still used by the Armenian Apostolic Church. So you can go to an Armenian church on your birthday. Celebrate Christmas.
There's so many
That
of
actually
those
sounds
around
pretty
here.
excellent.
What are some of our favorite traditions about Christmas? There are a lot. Gift giving, right? Who
Gift
likes?
giving's-
Everybody likes that one.
Yeah.
right?
It's fun. I mean, especially when you know something that a person specifically needs. You know,
What's better, giving or receiving?
Giving.
it's totally giving, man. Because like when you you found like the perfect gift for someone, and then like you see it on their face, that's like the best thing ever.
Absolutely.
I have the hardest time actually waiting until Christmas.
Yeah, I'm always like, dude, I got you something awesome.
Yeah.
You want to just go ahead and
Guess
have
what
it?
it was? Guess what it was?
Tad, what's one of your favorite traditions on Christmas?
Well, let's see. My favorite. I have a lot of family, so I end up having 3 or 4 Christmases. I'm really fond of the dinners because my family just throughout
Okay.
really great cooks.
Oh, all right.
So
The feasting.
yeah,
The
the
glorious,
and-
extravagant.
leftovers for weeks.
Well, who doesn't like food, right? I really like Christmas lights and Christmas trees, Christmas decorations. I really like Christmas lights. It might be one of my favorite ones. And, of course, Christmas music. I really like that. Alliterative Alicia. What's one of your favorite Christmas traditions?
Eggnog.
Eggnog. Oh, okay. With alcohol or without?
Well, both. Either
Okay.
way, it's fine.
Either
it's
way.
amazing.
Well, a new favorite tradition of mine will now be apple cider. And that
yes.
Bacardi Oak Heart rum, is it, John?
Yes.
One of John's favorite traditions now. What's another one, man?
We like Tad kind of did. We instead of doing a big dinner, we actually do a big breakfast and then open presents on Christmas morning.
Ooh, a big breakfast.
Yeah, we
then
do a
open presents.
Giant breakfast. We don't do a dinner. We do a giant breakfast. Everybody comes over. We eat a big breakfast, and then you're too full to actually care about the presents. You're like, I just want to chill. I don't want to. and then we do gifts. So that's sort of our tradition. Our family's always done.
That's pretty crazy, you know. Gift giving is a big thing. The economic impact of Christmas on our country is pretty crazy, if you think about it. It's a key sales period at retailers nationwide. The commercialization of Christmas, they keep pushing it further and further back into Halloween and even past now, right? It's crazy. The typical American, 25% of their annual spending is during Christmas. The average American spends $646 in 2011 on Christmas, and in 2012, the very next year, it was $854 per average American. And 1 in 10 parents even planned on spending more than $500 on one child.
They only have the one child, maybe? That
That would
Maybe,
explain
but that's
it.
crazy. Like, people spend a lot of money on Christmas. And
Someone's
it even
getting an
extends,
Xbox.
it even extends into January. Retailers really love January sales, too, because people come in cashing in on those gift certificates, returns, and buy extra and more. And the Christmas money. It's just huge. There's money everywhere. I mean, what are your thoughts on this Hammertime Holshoe about... do you feel like it's gone too far into just about the money and about how much we can earn this last final quarter?
Yes. No, yeah, it's gotten a little bit ridiculous. And there's the Black Friday sale. Now there's sales on Thanksgiving. We're gonna open on Thanksgiving. I know you're full and you don't want to move, but come on down because we got deals. And then there's the pre-Christmas sales, and then there are after Christmas sales. You might as well come down because now all our stuff's on sale because we already, sold as much as we could. So it's gotten a little bit crazy. And I agree, but I think everybody agrees there's too much. I don't have a problem with the commercialism. I have a problem with the amount of product they sell and how much their emphasis there is on that and sales and standing in line and.
I mean, do we not contribute to it though? I mean, do you not go online Cyber Monday and scoop shit up?
I do the do. I do hit some of the sales online, but I refuse to do the shopping in the cold thing anymore. If I catch a good deal online, if not, oh well. I'd much rather spend a little more online than go wait in the cold.
What do you think about it, Tantalizing Tad?
I like shopping. I actually enjoy going out and shopping. I make up a list of people I have to buy for, and preferably I like to go on a day that isn't too busy, but
That's almost impossible.
That is
He goes
almost
June
impossible.
1st every year. Does all his Christmas shopping.
But I have gone on the Black Friday shopping before, done a trip like that. It was chaos, pure chaos. It seems to go a little too far. I understand you might not get that Xbox that little Jimmy wanted, but come on, you'll find it somewhere else. You don't have to kill somebody over it.
What do you think about it, Alicia?
I think the way that people are about it is really sad. Like, yeah, like I think there was a Walmart worker that was killed because people trampled her.
Yeah, I read about that one.
Like that's fucking crazy.
That is crazy. People die on Black Friday. It's a news story how many people died this year versus last year.
No, but like I mean, people walked on her to death.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, think about that.
It's sad. Like people have, totally don't recognize that someone's been hurt or anything like that. I actually pretty much refuse to ever go out on that day. Day after Thanksgiving, I just stay at home.
I stay at home because I used to have to work Black Friday. And so
I lucked out.
It's torturous, man. You don't want to do it. It's terrible.
Always sign up for the late of the day shift. There's no product left anywhere, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you got to count on a shit ton of money. And that takes forever.
Well, not if you're just regular retailer. Just like, all right, so nothing to restock. I vacuumed. I'm out of here.
Both worked and shopped Black Friday, and it's something that like when it was actually Black Friday sales, I enjoyed doing it. I morally am against shopping on Thursday, like Thanksgiving. I think that's not cool. So like, yeah. I used to do the Black Friday thing, but
there are some very good deals, and I mean, can you really fault the people for going after the deals? But when it gets to the point where people are hurting each other, where people are killing each other, and they don't even care or realize or even care to notice, like, I think that's a little crazy. I think we can all agree on that. We'll be right back here with Christmas Around the World on Rockin' with Rockin' Robbie.
Woo! Yeah!
Jingle bells,
jingle bells,
Robin laid an egg.
The Batmobile lost its wheel and the Joker got away. Hey! Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an
egg. Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, Riddler, Two-Face, Mr. Freeze.
Is that what the second verse? I don't even know how it actually.
I didn't know.
I only know the
Let's
first
try
verse.
Jingle Bell Rock then, guys. That's a popular one. Ready?
Boom, 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 boom. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells, balls, and jingle bells song.
Singing and dancing in in the frosty air. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime and jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square.
I'm thinking we need to do a Christmas album.
Frosty air.
That's how good we
so
are.
good.
That's
Right
amazing.
time, it's the right time to drink your night away.
A
Silent night,
is a swell time to go riding in a one-horse
I know that part.
sleigh. Merry Christmas! Woo!
Happy holidays.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Huntsville Attic, and I am Rockin Robbie, and this is Rockin with Rockin Robbie. With me is Jumpin and Jivin James.
What's up?
Alliterative Alicia.
Hey.
Hammertime Holshoe.
Still here.
And Tantalizing Tad.
Heyo.
And today in the attic, we are talking about Christmas. We really wanted to focus tonight on the international aspect of Christmas, because Christmas is very Americanized around the world now, but it doesn't have its roots in America. So we wanted to go a little bit further from its roots to Christmas around the world. Taking us to Hungary is Jumpin and Jivin James.
Well, I chose Hungary because, well, a good portion of my family is actually from Hungary. And we do not very many of these traditions that they do, but we do still share a lovely pastry that we cook every year. It's called a bagel, and it's either a nut or a poppy seed, like, long pastry loaf type thing.
Those are delicious.
It's really
I've
good.
had them.
Yeah.
They're good.
And but beyond that, Hungary actually has what non-native Hungarian people would refer to as Hungarian Christmas, which starts on the 6th of December, but it's actually Saint Nicholas feast day.
Patron Saint Nicholas
yes.
of Turkey.
The night before, the children leave out their boots so that Mikulas or Zint Mikulas can leave them a treat in their boot.
Yep. Saint Nicholas was that's one of the legends, and he was known for secret giving to poor children.
And so on the if you're good, you'd get something nice. And their version of Santa Claus or Mikulas has two helpers, an angel and a Krampus, or an evil like elf that would give you a birch stick if you're bad.
Ooh.
Or a Virgax. He dressed much like a bishop. He carried a shepherd's crook. He carried sacks. So it's like very close to everybody else's Santa Claus. Red, kind of an outfit.
White beard.
Red, yeah. So that's the 6th of December. And then they have, of course, the major celebration on the 24th and 25th on Christmas Day. But those days it's actually more about Jesus, because that's what the holiday is supposed to be for them. A big big feast on Christmas Day. And again, you get a few more gifts there, but the gifts are actually attributed to Jesus giving you gifts.
Ah, interesting. So they think the children think that Jesus is giving them these gifts.
On the 25th.
Very interesting.
But there is also a custom that you actually decorate the Christmas tree on the 24th. That's when it first goes up, and then the gifts go under it, and then it's done pretty quick. And then Christmas dinner, and then on to singing carols around the Christmas tree.
Sounds like a lovely Christmas to have, doesn't it, guys?
Yeah, actually.
I think so. Sounds nice.
Who doesn't want 2 Christmases?
Yeah,
That's
right.
right.
Moving on down a little bit to Germany. Brought to us by Hammertime Holshoe. Germany. Woo, yeah.
Actually, when I was looking up Germany has a lot of traditions that have made it to America, like the Christmas tree, like the gingerbread house. There's some things that do differ, though. First off, they instead of writing a letter to Santa, they put a on the windowsill. They put a letter to Christkind, who's an angel, and this was actually created by the church to get people away from Santa Claus. They feel like it was commercialized or what they called him, Weihnachtsmann, which was Christmas man. So they created this character. This Christkind, who appears as an angel in. It translates to Christ child. It's an angel in a white robe and crown, bears gifts. Supposedly an incarnation of infant Jesus, but the German version of infant Jesus has wings and blonde hair, blonde curly locks, because he's German.
Yeah, okay.
So that was their version of what an infant Jesus would look like. So he brings gifts, and they.
So another Jesus brings us the gifts.
Yeah, as opposed to, and again, they do have a Santa Claus or a Christmas man, but they try to dissuade that type of Santa Claus. But they do have that, and they have the Christmas tree and the gingerbread. And they do, just like he was saying, sort of like Hungary, they typically celebrate on Christmas Eve as opposed to Christmas. And actually, what they typically do is they have a room that they will decorate this tree and put all these gifts under, but the room is locked until Christmas Eve. The kids can't see it. Then they go in there. They wake the kids up at midnight on Christmas Eve, which is actually Christmas. Screw getting up in the morning. Let's wake the little bastards up. They wake them up, and then they show them this room full of presents, and they exchange gifts.
Oh,
and
that's
everything.
got to be magical, man.
Yeah, but you do it at midnight, or sometimes during the day, depending on, I guess, maybe your schedule. But it's more of a Christmas Eve thing. And what I thought was interesting, and this is something that I didn't realize originated from Germany, because we know the Christmas tree and stuff typically does. The glass ornaments that you associate with Christmas, especially that's what most people put on the Christmas trees, was a German thing. They were hand blown, and they were a German decoration. And Woolworths started bringing them over in the 1880s. And we're selling them in the U.S., and they kind of became a U.S. tradition, which I thought was pretty cool because, again, I associate the little red, they'd always break and you'd step on the damn things. You know what I'm talking about.
They pop. They make a
Yeah,
distinctive sound when they
Yeah,
break,
they're
too. It's
very,
not
you
just
always
like,
hear them during,
shit.
I associate that pop with Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why are they so fragile? But for the most part, the American Christmas has been taken from the German Christmas. But other than that, those things are, besides the Christkind and the Christmas Eve, most of it has been brought over.
All right, going down to South America to Brazil with Tantalizing Tad.
Well, choosing Brazil was kind of easy for me. I am myself half Brazilian, so that's kind of
Just the bottom half. He gets a sorry.
No, you right. All right. Brazil's not. They don't treat it so differently from the U.S. Actually, it's kind of interesting when you look at it. They're really popular with nativity scenes. They do them in the houses, out on the streets, over in the churches. Really popular. They call Santa Claus Papa Noel. They actually have a Santa Claus figure. Interesting fact, since it's summer down there around Christmas time, he wears silks, luxurious red silks. So
makes very much sense.
Very
and
much.
board shorts.
Sounds like a way cooler Santa Claus.
Right?
He wears his hat backwards.
That's right.
Sunglasses. Sunglasses are so cool.
And apparently, he lives in Greenland. That's where the North Pole headquarters is for Brazil.
Interesting.
Secret Santa is actually really popular with families. Being that the poverty level is a little higher, they just draw names among the families, give out a present, something like that. They have very similar meals to us. They like to have a nice ham or a turkey on Christmas. I'm a fan. They have Christmas trees. Interesting fact, they don't have a whole lot of evergreens there, but they still like the idea of the Christmas tree. So they make them up out of lights. They string them up and make them look like a Christmas tree.
Oh, that's really groovy, man.
And it's pretty neat. And one final thing, they almost always, it is a very Christianized holiday for them, but they almost always try and go to a church mass on the 25th. Always.
Oh, okay. On a Christ's Mass.
That's right.
If you will. Back across the Atlantic Ocean to the mysterious and enigmatic country of Egypt.
Portugal.
Of Egypt with alliterative Alicia.
All right, so Christmas in Egypt. Roughly 10% of Egyptians are Coptic Orthodox Christians, so they have Christmas. By the way, the Coptic Orthodox Christians also have their own pope. I thought that was kind of neat. Just a side note. Yeah. They celebrate it on our January 7th, which is actually their January 25th. I'm sorry, December 25th. They do a thing called Lent fasting. It traditionally lasts 43 days, and they bypass the animal products. So no meat, no milk, no cheese,
Where's
no
the fun
anything
in
like
that?
that. But most people only fast the last week before the feast. It's a very spiritual holiday for them. It's very Jesus is the reason for the season and all that good stuff.
Even in Egypt.
Yeah.
I thought Egypt was predominantly Islam.
Well, roughly 10% of Egyptians are Coptic Orthodox Christians.
There you go. And they're the ones.
I heard
we
that
were
somewhere.
And anyway, they do a nativity scene during a midnight service on Christmas morning, and then they finish the service with the ringing of the church bells. They exchange gifts, visit friends and neighbors Christmas morning. They eat. Other Christians that are in Egypt, not the Coptic Orthodox ones that have just relocated, also celebrate. And there's this old tradition of rich white people spending winter in Egypt. And so a lot of the higher end places in Egypt have already been catering to a very westernized Christian and European Christian version of Christmas as it was. Some Muslims in Egypt do celebrate some of the less directly religious festivities of Christmas as well. And just a cool side note, Egypt is also the birthplace of the Christmas tree. The palm tree was used in the winter solstice, and the Romans came along and stole it just like everything they ever saw and used it in Saturnalia. And that's why it's in Christmas.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting.
Oh, because I said Germany? Are you guys looking at me?
Okay, and over to the Pacific Ocean and the island country of Japan. With me, Rockin Robbie. Well, St. Francis Xavier brought Christianity kinda to Japan in 1549. It was first recorded Christmas in Japan. Was held by a Jesuit missionaries in 1552. Christianity was actually banned in Japan in 1612, even though a small sect of hidden Christians continued to practice it underground for about 250 years.
Breaking the law.
In the 1960s, American TV and, of course, the westernization of Japan, people like Christmas. Even though, today, only 1% of the Japanese are Christian. It is celebrated very widely. It is not a national holiday, but it is encouraged by commerce, and it's very, very popular. Christmas lights and Christmas trees, Christmas parties, and gift givings are traditions that they have. In fact, Christmas Eve is very interesting in Japan. Christmas Eve is more like America's Valentine's Day in Japan. And it is a night, an evening, meant to be spent with romantic partners together, exchanging gifts with one another and spending quality alone time together. So that's very interesting. Because of a very successful marketing campaign in the 1970s, it is a national tradition in Japan to eat KFC during Christmas time. In fact, it's so popular that they have to take reservations months in advance. The chicken dinner at KFC, man.
Score one for PepsiCo.
Right? A traditional Japanese dish served at Christmas that they eat is a white sponge cake decorated with strawberries and whipped cream, reminiscing of the colors of Saint Nick, Santa Claus. They call him Santa-san. They also have Hoteyosho, which is a Buddhist figure of good fortune. And if they don't like the Santa Claus figure giving them gifts, they go to Hoshioto. So Christmas is a big popular thing. They like to decorate. They like having the parties. They have the romantic Christmas Eve. They have the Santa Claus figure. But the biggest thing in Japan is actually New Year's. New Year's is way bigger there. And that's the period where the families gather, send cards to one another, and gather and have a giant, giant feast. And they actually celebrate New Year's for 5 days in Japan, from the 31st all the way through January 4th. And that is Christmas in Japan and Christmas around the world.
I say we do Christmas in Japan next year, guys.
Yeah. And that was it, right?
Yeah,
I think we
that sounds
covered.
fun.
I think we covered the entire world. So we can
Yeah,
close
right.
this
That's all
segment
there is.
down.
Well, there's only 5 of us in the Huntsville Attic tonight,
If you notice, we covered most of the access powers. I'm just going to point that out.
Hey, that's actually not too far. They were all at one point controlled by Germany or an Axis power. That's kind of funny when you
Your
think about it.
face is an Axis power.
Booyah! I hope you're
face.
sickly during Christmas. Too soon.
Oh,
Hope
We'll
you
be
cut the
right
tip of your
back.
finger. Oh.
We'll be right back
That is
here
way
on
too
the
soon.
Christmas special 2013, Rockin' with Rockin' Robbie special, after the Science Minute, or 4. I think it's 4 now, John, isn't it?
4 minutes?
It's going to be a science hour eventually. I'm John Holshoe, and this is your Science Minute. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a Chinese spacecraft?
That's right, John. China's unmanned Chang'e 3 lunar lander and U-2 rover have safely reached the surface of the moon. The craft touched down in the northern part of the Sea of Rains, slightly east of its intended landing site. 7 hours after landing, the U-2 rover, or the Jade Rabbit, set off to study minerals. The rover also carries telescopes and cameras to observe astronomical events in outer space. John?
Those crazy communists. Talk about fast food. Inspired by the tubes in Futurama, Sam Crosby of C1 Espresso in Christchurch, New Zealand, is installing a system of pneumatic tubes that deliver mini burgers and nachos to tables at speeds of up to 87 miles per hour. Pneumatic tubes have been used to transport messages since the 1850s and have subsequently been employed for many years by banks. Currently, the orders are sent via tubes to the kitchen, but starting next month, the food will be delivered to the tables through the pneumatic tubes. Whether this really speeds up fast food or is just a novelty remains to me. Damn, I'm so close.
The rise of multicellular structures in animals may have hinged on a chemical link between sulfur and nitrogen atoms. In animal tissue and organs, cells lock into a scaffold of collagen proteins that allows the cells to stick together and coordinate activities such as tissue repair. Sulfur-nitrogen connections called cephalamine bonds form essential links that keep this protein scaffold together, researchers now have discovered. Cephalamine bonds evolved more than 500 million years ago and just might be the primordial chemical links that sparked the assembly of single cells into complex animals. John, what's your favorite animals?
I prefer pizza. Would you let your ISP spy on you in exchange for a faster connection? AT&T thinks you might. In Austin, Texas, AT&T now offers gigabit service for only $70 a month. The catch? Their users must allow AT&T to track their searches. This is a relatively new model for internet service providers, but could certainly be expanded if consumers are willing to sacrifice privacy for speed. Robbie?
Europa. The icy fourth largest moon of Jupiter may be spewing jets of water vapor from cracks near its south pole. The plumes suggest at least some of Europa's water is reaching its surface. If confirmed, these geysers would allow astronomers to probe the moon's watery and possibly life-supporting interior. This is very exciting news, and I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas because, let's be honest, there's too much hate in the world. Right, John?
Ha! Totally agree with you there, Robbie. Windshield wipers may soon find themselves out of a job. Supercar manufacturer McLaren recently has brought us the wonderful supercar, the MP412C. For its next trick, get rid of the windshield wipers altogether. That's according to an interview a designer gave to the UK's Sunday Times. It seems McLaren is working on a system adapted from fighter jets, which will use high-frequency sound waves to create a kind of force field that will keep water, as well as insects and other debris, off the windshield. Getting rid of that chunk of plastic would also improve the car's aerodynamics, lowering drag and making it more fuel efficient, and in theory, eventually find into automobiles of the non-exotic variety. I'm John Holshoe, and this has been your Science Minute.
Merry Christmas and welcome back to the Huntsville Attic. I am Rockin Robbie and this is Rockin with Rockin Robbie, our 2013 Christmas special. Thank you for continuing to listen to this podcast. All right, we talked about the origins of Christmas. We talked about Christmas in America today. We talked about Christmas around the world. Now I want to talk about what Christmas is at this very table here in Huntsville Attic tonight. Tantalizing Tad, you're our honored guest tonight. What is Christmas to you?
I feel honored.
Thank you.
Christmas to me, it's just a lot of Americanized traditions, but truth be told, I love them. I love the gift giving, I love the dinners, love the family get-togethers, but at the end of the day, I'm ready for it to be over. I'm ready for the new year to start. I'm ready for all the holiday hustle to end. And as Bilbo Baggins said when talking about family, I don't know half of them as well as I should like, and I like less than half of them as well as they deserve.
Alliterative Alicia, what is Christmas?
When I think of Christmas, I think of my mom's house or whatever family members we are having Christmas Eve at, because my family does a giant Christmas Eve dinner, and then we all sit around and exchange presents with our families. Last year, I'd actually had oral surgery and could only eat the macaroni and cheese, so I'm really looking forward to this year and being able to eat some good food, so there's that. But just spending time with loved ones and eating awesome food, and presents are pretty cool too. I'm not particularly religious in any way, so it doesn't really mean anything spiritually to me, but I have a good time with the season.
Speaking of having a good time, Hammertime Holshoe. What does Christmas mean to you?
I used to, well, of course, when I was younger, it was about presents. What am I going to get? The anticipation was killing me. I got to wait for the new Nintendo for a whole month. Son of a bitch. It's changed. I enjoy the family get-togethers. I enjoy giving gifts. But my favorite part of Christmas actually is, yeah, you look at the Black Friday stuff and then the atrocities of some of what people go through to save a buck. But I also see a lot of people, as the holidays get closer, that are more generous and more giving and go to soup kitchens. There are some people that generally, even people that aren't religious, they seem more giving and willing to go out there and just more generous. I like that spirit. I mean, that's what I think Christmas is supposed to be about, or the holiday season if you're not religious. And you do see that in people. You see people going out and helping charities or giving the gifts to the kids or whatever, or helping families out that don't have money for the kids. I like that generous spirit. I like that, I don't know, just that feeling. That reminds me of Christmas, and when you see that, it makes me happy, and that's Christmas to me.
Jumpin and Jivin James, good friend of mine, old friend of mine. Not that you're old, but that we're both old.
Together.
What does Christmas mean to you?
Christmas to me is definitely all about the family togetherness and the wanting to do small, nice things for each other. Like, nothing grand, no giant presents, but like if you know there's something small that someone's really been wanting, you like find the little things that like really have meaning to people. Handmade gifts, smaller things like that. But just togetherness and the dinner and everybody just being grateful to be together again.
There's not much that I can say that you four have not said already. But basically, whether it's Christmas, and whether it's a secular celebration to you, or whether it's a spiritual and religious thing, or whether it's Kwanzaa, or whether it's Hanukkah around that time, whether it's a Saturnalia, however. But there's just something about this time of the year. We get to reflect on the year. We get to look forward to the spring and the summer and the promise of new days ahead, right? We have a spirit of giving. We get together with our families. We share foods. We get through the hustle and bustle, and we take a moment to reflect and be with family and be with friends and to drink together and to eat together and to live together and to celebrate together. And to me, basically what it is, what everybody has said, is it comes down to love. Christmas to me is love. And I want to leave it with Dale Evans. She said it the best. She says, Christmas, my child. This, by the way, is our thought of the day. Christmas, my child, is love in action. Every time we love, every time we give, it's Christmas. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. I hope you have a great new year. Jumpin and Jivin James, thanks for being here.
Thank you, and a Merry Christmas to all.
Alliterative Alicia.
Yeah, no problem.
Hammertime Holshoe.
Always a pleasure.
And Tantalizing Tad.
Hasta la vista.
And I am Rockin Robbie. Thanks for rocking with us. Woo!